I will tell you very simply, we won the election. Elections have consequences.
A woman could be helped pay more money because she has a pre-existing condition of pregnancy. They were able to charge a woman more for the same exact procedure a man gets. We're saying that Biden wanted to allow people to have private insurance still. They can.
It's not what you've said.
My
Medicine
party is
and
me.
socialist
right
healthcare.
now, I am
and
the
they're going to
Democratic
dominate
Party.
you, Joe. You know that.
I am the Democratic Party right now. The platform of the
Not according
Democratic
to
Party
Harris.
is the 200,000 people that have died on his watch. How many of those have survived?
If you were here,
Look,
it wouldn't be
here's the deal.
200. It would be 2 million people because you were very late on the draw. First of all, I guess I'm debating you, not him. Drug prices will be coming down 80 or 90%. You could have done it during your 47-year period in government, but you didn't do it. Nobody's done it.
That is going to end private insurance.
It is
and
not.
Well, if I can ask you the question, it will
Not
end.
what your party says, by the way.
It will end private insurance and create a government takeover of health care.
Number one.
Joe, you agreed with Bernie Sanders, who's far left.
Hey,
Are you saying
I'm not
you
going
didn't
to
agree?
listen to him. The fact of the matter is, I beat Bernie Sanders.
Not by much.
I beat him a whole hell of a lot. I'm here standing facing you, old buddy.
Pocahontas would have left 2 days
I tell
early.
you,
You would have lost every primary.
All he knows how to
on
do
Super
is hurt.
Tuesday. You got
Look,
very lucky.
here's the deal. I got very lucky. I'm going to get very lucky tonight as well. And tonight I'm going to
With
make
what?
sure because
With what?
here's I want to make sure.
Joe, you're the liar.
I want to make sure.
Graduated last in your class, not first in your class.
I want to make
Mr.
sure.
President, can you let him finish, sir?
No, he doesn't know how to do that. He has,
You'd be surprised.
Number two.
You just lost the left.
Number two.
You just lost the left. You agreed with Bernie Sanders on a plan
Folks,
that's absolutely agreed
folks, do you have
to,
any
and under that
idea
plan,
what
you
this
have
clown's
socialized. They
doing?
call it
Never
Obamacare,
done a
as you
single
might
thing.
know, but probably don't. Obamacare.
Gentlemen,
Listen, this is the way it is.
You have refused in the past to talk about it, packing the court.
Whatever position I take on that'll become the issue. The issue is the American people should speak. Let people know
He doesn't want
you're a
to answer the
senator.
question.
I'm not going to answer the question
Why
because
would you answer that
because
question?
the question
you want to put a lot
is
of
the
new
question
Supreme Court
is
justice,
the
radical
question,
left.
Will you
Who
shut
is
up,
on,
man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe?
This
Who's
is
on your
so
list?
right. That was really a productive segment, wasn't it? Keep yapping, man.
The people understand, Joe.
They sure
47 years, you've done nothing. They understand.
do. He still doesn't have a plan.
Wrong. If we would have listened to you, the country would have been left wide open. Millions of people would have died. It's China's fault. It should have never happened. They don't exactly give you a straight count, just so you understand. Oh, really? Go take a look. The governor said I did a phenomenal job. It's just fake news. They give you good press. They give me bad press. But let me just tell you something. I don't care. I've gotten used to it. But I'll tell you, Joe, you could never have done the job that we did. You don't have it in your blood.
I know how to do the job. I know how to get the job
Well, you
done.
didn't do very well in swine flu. H1N1, you were a disaster.
This is his economy he's shut down. The whole notion of a vaccine. We're for a vaccine.
Spoken to the companies, and we can have it a lot sooner. It's a very political thing because people like this would rather make it political than save lives.
Are you and your running mate, Senator Harris, contributing to that fear?
And a lot more are going to die unless he gets a lot smarter, a lot quicker.
Mr. President?
Did you use the word smart? So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh, give me a break.
Because you know what? There's nothing smart about you, Joe. 47 years, you've done nothing.
Let's have this debate.
And if
We'll
you
see
would have
who's
had, let me just tell you something, Joe. I had to close the greatest economy in the history of our country.
If I were running, I know what the plan is. You have to
Tell
provide
that
them
to Nancy
plastic.
Pelosi and Schumer,
by the
Brian
way,
Chuck. He wants to shut down this country, and I want to keep it open. And we did a great
he
thing
just
by
admitted
shutting
he
it
shut
down.
it down.
Wait a minute,
Let
Joe.
him
Let me
finish,
shut
sir.
you down for a second, Joe, just for 1 second.
Are you questioning
No, I think
the
masks
efficacy
are okay. I put a mask on, when I think I need it. I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from it. He shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen. I will.
The way to open businesses is give them the wherewithal to be able to open. We provided money. The Congress.
But I was asking you, sir, about masks.
Well, masks make a big difference.
President Trump, you're holding large rallies. Vice President Biden, you are holding much smaller events with.
Because nobody will show up.
People with.
What's true? Nobody shows up to his rallies.
All right. In any case, why?
And Joe does the circles and has 3 people someplace.
Okay.
And we've had 35, 40,000
All right,
people
you wanna-
at these rallies.
He's a fool on that.
If you could get the crowds, you would have done the same thing. But you can't. Nobody cares.
Gentlemen, can we move on?
So we built the greatest economy in history. We closed it down because of the China plague. He didn't think we should close it down, and he was wrong. You take a look at what's happening in some of your Democrat-run states. They don't want to open it. Oh, we're going to open up on November 9th. Why November 9th? Because it's after the election. This guy will close down the whole country and destroy our country.
Have done very well. Billionaires have made another $300 billion because of his profligate tax proposal. This guy paid a total of $750 in taxes.
I paid $38 million 1 year. I don't want to pay tax. Like every other private person, unless they're stupid, they go through the laws, and that's what it is. He passed a tax bill that gave us all these privileges.
I'm going to eliminate the Trump tax cuts. People out there need help.
But why didn't you do it over the last 25 years?
Because you weren't president. Because you weren't president screwing things up.
In 47 months, I've done more than you've done in 47 years, Joe.
Mr. Vice President, your economic plan, if you were to be elected president, focuses a lot on big government, big taxes, big spending.
It would create an additional $1 trillion in economic growth. Every penny of that has to be made by a company.
But respectfully, sir, I'm talking about taxes, not spending.
You have 91 companies, in the Fortune 500, who don't pay a single penny in tax, making billions of dollars.
Why didn't you do it before when you were vice president with Obama?
Because you, in fact, passed that. That was your tax proposal.
I got it done. And you know what happened?
You got it done.
Our economy boomed.
Number two.
Chris.
Number three.
They said it would take. No, you were number two.
No.
China ate your lunch, Joe. And no wonder your son goes in and he takes out billions of dollars, to manage. He makes millions of dollars. The mayor of Moscow's wife gave your son $3.5 million. What did he do to deserve it? It's a fact.
There was a report.
Pay him $183,000 a month with no experience in energy.
Mr. President,
my son did nothing wrong at Burisma.
I think he did.
You get the final word, Mr.
Well, it's hard to get any word in with this clown. Excuse me.
Hey, let me just tell you, $3.5 million, Joe. Why did he deserve $3.5 million from Moscow?
We want to talk about families and ethics. I don't want to do that.
You're on tape doing it.
You're going to have Biden. You say Trump's response to the violence in Charlottesville, when he talked about very fine people on both sides, was what directly led you to launch this run for president.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You believe you have done more for black Americans than any president.
1 in 1,000 African Americans has been killed because of the coronavirus. And if he doesn't do something quickly, by the end of the year, 1 in 500 will have been killed.
1994. Where you call them super predators, African Americans, the super predators, and they've never forgotten it. Excuse me, Portland, the sheriff just came out today and he said, I support President Trump. I don't think you have any law enforcement. You can't even say the word law enforcement, because if you say those words, you're going to lose all of your radical left supporters. We would put out that fire in a half an hour, but they won't do it because they're run by radical left Democrats. And they've got you wrapped around their finger, Joe, to a point where you don't want to say anything about law and order.
There's systemic injustice in this country. But we have to have a system where people are held accountable. And by the way, violence in response is never appropriate. Never appropriate.
What is peaceful protest? When they run through the middle of the town and burn down your stores and kill people all over the place,
and you say peaceful protest?
No, it's not, but you say it is. I ended it because it's racist. They were teaching people to hate our country, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to allow that to happen.
Oh, my
But
Lord.
the reason is that
ridiculous.
the Democrats that run these cities
ridiculous.
don't want to talk like you about law and order.
Violent
and you
crime,
still haven't mentioned.
violent
Are you
crime.
in favor of law and order?
I'm in favor of law. You follow it.
Are you in favor of law and order?
And
And he doesn't want to say law and order because he'll lose his radical left supporters. And once he does that, it's over with. But if he ever got to run this country, our suburbs would be gone.
What really is a threat to the suburbs and their safety is his failure to deal with COVID.
What does reimagining policing mean?
They need, when they show up for a 9/11 call, to have someone with them as a psychologist or psychiatrist to keep them from having to use force.
That's not what they're talking about, Chris. That's not what they're talking about. He's talking about defunding the police.
That is not true.
He doesn't have any law enforcement
That's not
support.
true.
Almost
That's
nothing.
Look.
Oh, really? Who do you have? Name one group that supports you. Name one group that came out and supported you. Go ahead.
Look,
Think. We have time.
we don't have time to do
No,
anything.
think
All
about
right.
it.
Have you ever called the Democratic mayor of Portland and said, hey, you got to stop this?
I don't hold public office now.
100 days of riots.
They can, in fact, take care of it if he just stay out of the way. Look here.
Oh, really?
Here,
I had to send in the
interrupt-
U.S. Marshals.
President
They
Trump-
took care of business.
I'm-
Send
no,
in
I-
the National Guard, it would be over. There'd be no problem.
Okay.
Proud
Problem.
Boys, stand back and stand by. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left.
Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you got to be
not
kidding.
militia.
Antifa is a dangerous,
All right,
radical
gentlemen,
group.
we're now moving on to the Trump
and
and
you ought to be
Biden
careful
records.
with them. They'll overthrow you.
When
in
a
2
president,
seconds.
I was asked to fix it. I did. We left him a booming economy. The fact is that I've gone head to head with Putin.
Your son got
And-
$3.5 million.
Not sure.
Mi-
And
Mr.
by the way,
President- Mr.
my
President-
son was in Iraq. He was not a loser. He was a patriot, and the people left behind there were heroes.
Really?
And I resent.
Are you talking
like
about
hell.
Hunter? Are you talking about
I'm
Hunter?
talking about my son, Beau Biden. You're
I
talking
don't know.
about.
I don't know, Bo. I know Hunter.
Yeah.
Hunter got thrown out of the military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true. He
for
wasn't dishonorably.
cocaine use, and he didn't have a job until you became vice president. He
My
made a
son,
fortune.
my son,
And he didn't have a job.
My son, like a lot of people, had a drug problem. He's overtaken it. He's fixed it.
But why
I'm
was he
proud of
given
my
tens
son.
of millions
All
of
right.
dollars?
I will rejoin the Paris Accord. Well, the rainforests of Brazil are being torn down. I would be gathering up and making sure we had the countries of the world coming up with $20 billion and say, here's $20 billion. Stop tearing down the forest. It's all true. And here's
He's
the deal.
talking about the Green New Deal, and it's not $2 billion. It's $100 trillion, where they
the
want to rip
Biden
down
plan.
Go for a
buildings
minute, and then you can go.
and rebuild the building,
No,
where airplanes are out of
minute,
business,
That's it.
where two-car systems are out, where they
Not
want to
true.
take out the cows, too.
Not-
It
let me-
will
let me-
destroy
because-
our
because
country.
I
By the way, he has an answer for hurricanes. He said maybe we should drop a nuclear weapon on them. They may.
I never said that
That's
at all.
he did say.
You made it up.
And here's the deal.
You make up. Why didn't he do it for 47 years? You were vice president. China sends up real dirt into the air. Russia does. India does. He called the military
Mr. Vice President,
stupid bastards.
I
and
did
he said
not
it on
say that.
tape.
The final question is, I can't remember which of all his rantings. was the
I'm
final
having a little
question.
trouble- I'm having a little trouble myself. You support that?
No, I don't support the Green
Oh,
New
you
Deal.
don't? Oh, well, that's a
You
big
let-
statement.
I
That
support
means you
the
just
bloc.
lost the radical left.
I
That's
support-
gone.
Reassure the American people that the next president will be the legitimate winner of this election.
There is no evidence at all that mail-in ballots are a source of being manipulated and cheating.
They found him in creeks. Just happened to have the name Trump just the other day in a waste paper basket. West Virginia, mailmen selling the ballots. This is a horrible thing for our country.
There is no-
This is not.
there is no
This is
evidence
not
of
going to
that.
end well.
Biden, the biggest problem, in fact, sometimes hundreds of thousands of ballots are thrown out.
Excuse me,
No,
Chris,
no, no.
when you
I
have
a final-
80 million ballots
Gentlemen, I have a final
sent in
question.
and swamping the system, you know it can't be done.
We are not going to know on election night who the winner is, that it could be days, it could be weeks.
Could be months. Poll watchers, a very safe, very nice thing. They were thrown out. They weren't allowed to watch. You know why? Because bad things happen in Philadelphia. I am urging my people. I hope it's going to be a fair election. If it's a fair
You're urging
election,
them what?
I am 100% on board. But if I see tens of thousands of ballots being manipulated, I can't go along with that. And I'll tell
what-
you
what
what,
does that
from
mean,
a
not go
common
along?
sense,
Does that mean
I'll
you're gonna
tell you
tell
what
your
it means.
people to take to
it
the
means
street?
you have a fraudulent election. These people aren't equipped to handle it. Number one. Number two,
Okay.
they cheat.
Mail-in ballots. That somehow it's a fraudulent process.
It's already been established. Take a
but-
look at Carolyn Maloney's race.
In fact, fine. If it's not me, I'll support the outcome.